In high school, I used to say, "You're crazy, Mr. Ortiz. Why do you teach? You don't get paid enough." I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to have some high-powered job where I wore lots of stylish suits and made lots of money. I was too smart not to. When I was 19, I ended up in the Dominican Republic. I was there to build houses, teach English, and run programs with children. But mostly I was there because I thought it'd be an adventure. There I was walking through a slum. The homes were pieced together with scrap metal, old signs, tires, whatever they could find. There were small enclosed spaces where the women were expected to cook. I remember choking on the smoke. It hurt my lungs. You couldn't pick a straight path because you had to hop back and forth over the sewage that streamed through the village. As I was planning my next step, I remember seeing a boy. He was young, maybe 8, 9, 10 months old. He was beautiful. He had a big round head like babies do and beautiful dark brown eyes. There he was, sitting bare-bottomed in the fecal sludge. He was silent and stared back at me as I walked by. I remember an old water bottle with a string attached to it in his hand. It was his toy. Growing up, I never thought much of poverty. To me, poverty was the commercial you'd see on television asking for $5 a month to sponsor a child. They'd show a frighteningly skinny child in tattered clothes looking back at you with a sad stare, and then it'd end. It wasn't real to me. This was. I couldn't look away. I thought he shouldn't be sitting there. Where's his mom? Who is looking after him? That isn't a toy. I returned home. I graduated from college. I traveled. I volunteered. But still I couldn't forget that boy and his deep brown eyes. He drove me. He still does. I wish I knew his name because it was him that brought me back to that island several years later. This time I was working as an intern for the Lambi Fund of Haiti and was eager to finally see our projects for the first time. It was inauguration day for a grain mill built in partnership with Lambi Fund. Every person in the community was there. I'm sure of it. Men and women danced. They sang and clapped. There were skits and speeches. Children lined in the doorway or climbing on top of one another to get a peek through one of the windows. The pride, it was everywhere. On their faces, in the walls, the way they stood. Each and every person was bursting with it. The president spoke about how their mill and their hard work would change the community. Women would no longer have to travel several days to get grains milled. They'd fetch higher profits in the market. Then the mill motor was fired up for the first time. It roared with great strength. And with that, the entire place erupted and streamed out of the mill in a parade. Marching, drums, and singing. I joined hands with the children and took to the streets. The pride. I wasn't wearing a suit, but I was rich.